Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania. As new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hey, welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. Took
I feel like it's been ages.
It has been a couple weeks, so we ran into some scheduling issues last week. I ended up going to see, what did I see?
You went to a couple movies.
I did. I saw Transformers.
And you went to Wonder Woman again.
No, I asked you to go see Wonder Woman again. We haven't done that yet. Despicable Me 3.
Oh, you saw that? Okay.
And I just saw Spider-Man last night. So yeah, I'm actually on a movie kick. Anyway, no, so we kind of didn't cross paths too good last week. But anyway, we are back this week to talk about a bunch of stuff. One in particular being Forces of Destiny, which was released this week. Some of it was, anyway. We definitely want to talk a little bit about what we're putting out this month, which is our episode 2 commentary.
Yes.
And brand new trailer, which will be live this weekend. And a couple other things, but obviously, first off, we always talk about the news, but unfortunately, I don't even know if there is that much.
Not much. I mean, Han Solo has been super quiet, really, ever since the big controversy. Ron Howard's tweeted
They start shooting Monday,
They've been shooting because Ron Howard's tweeted. He's shared some pictures and a little bit of video of very nondescript stuff. Like one was like, "This is all I can show you on set," and it's like a picture of his feet next to some water bottles, and then like video of him throwing away some garbage. Like it's kind of funny. It's like this is very sneaky stuff. This is all I can show you, though. I'm sorry, and it's just like something really stupid and weird. So, it's interesting. And so there's been no news about what they've been doing, how it's been going, or anything like that. So, we'll still have to wait and see. We won't get anything Comic-Con for, I think, Star Wars related.
Yeah, I saw something like
Last
that.
Jedi.
There's some really cool, if you go to StarWars.com, there's some really cool exclusive merchandise that they kind of released for Comic-Con, which is, I think, in 2 weeks. It's in 2 weekends. But I thought I saw something, that said there's no Last Jedi presence there.
Yeah, which, again, we've said several times where they're really shifting to D23 for all their stuff.
That's right.
So D23 might be where it's at.
Which is a week before, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't it next weekend?
The weekend before.
Yeah, so.
There's been some rumors about, and some vague information about exactly what they're going to be showing with Star Wars. So, I expect maybe something to show up there.
Well, I mean, we should be getting another type of trailer at some point. I mean,
maybe.
So D23 is next weekend.
Yeah.
July 14th, 15th, 16th, Anaheim Convention Center, which is great convention center. I mean, I gotta find out more about this thing because it says the ultimate Disney fan event. I mean,
why haven't we gone yet?
Yeah, why aren't we there? What the heck? So I do think we'll get something from there. Mm-hmm. But it's only because it's been now 4 months, right, since Celebration, May, June, 3 months. Mm-hmm. So
they might wait till the fall.
They
to be
might.
Honest. So October, it's kind of how it's been a little bit. So
yeah, they might.
Oh, who knows, man?
I mean, the next big. So obviously there wasn't anything on Spider-Man. So the next big Marvel movie is Thor in November. I don't know if they'll wait that long.
Maybe. I think they're doing reshoots right now too.
And then you've got. You have. Well, they're not going to do it, obviously. The Cars 3 already came out, right? Did Cars 3 already come out?
Oh, my gosh. I think so.
I think it did.
Yeah.
obviously there's got to be some other Disney movie coming out. Oh, there's another Pixar movie coming out this year.
Is it that?
It's that kid, that little kid, Day of the Dead stuff. One? Yeah, I think that's October. So I don't know.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, Last Jedi's quiet.
Yeah.
Episode 9. There's been some talks, just articles readdressing Princess Leia's involvement. You know, how they're treating her inclusion, exclusion, whatever it is, in Episode 9 with great care and respect. So Trevorrow's kind of said a couple things about that. Nothing crazy. It's kind of been the same stuff about how it's tragic, and it definitely does affect Episode 9. So we'll see exactly what kind of role Princess Leia will play. But everything is quiet. Very quiet on the Star Wars movie front. TV show-wise, like no Rebels or anything like that. But right now it's Forces of Destiny, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
They
did on Rebels, though, they did announce, I'm trying to find it here. They announced the Blu-ray release, which I think is August 29th. Yeah. So the complete Season 3 Blu-ray and DVD is coming out August 29th, 22 episodes. Now, this is the first Blu-ray set that's actually going to have a ton of special features. So there's some commentaries.
Cool.
There's some more behind-the-scenes makings. Of course, you get your Rebels Recon, whole thing. But that is coming out. So then obviously, usually September is when we get the premiere of Rebels, but no video or sneak peeks or anything since.
Well, did you see the tweet from Filoni?
I was going to bring that up here in a little minute, but I guess we can talk about it now.
Hey, we can wait.
And then, novels. You got July 25th. Is the release of Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad, so that's coming up. I'm about an hour left of Thrawn, so I'm debating on whether or not to jump in another book before that, because that's like 2 weeks still, 2 or 3 weeks.
Really, every waking moment, listen to the audiobook to get through it. It's like 13 hours, 14 hours maybe. So
which one?
Is that
the Dark Disciple?
Yeah,
I think I think that one's less. I think that's more like, I think it's only like a 9 or 10 hour.
Oh, well, you can get through that.
I think so.
Sure.
Because I want to get through, because that's a Christy Golden book too. And I want to get through that just before I read this one or listen to this one. But I'm telling you, I'll get into it a little bit more later. But Thrawn has set a high bar, man. That book is.
I really haven't heard anything bad about the book from everybody I've heard who has either read it or listened to it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It's actually the first one too that I've experienced that I want to probably do it again, re-listen to it again.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Like maybe 6 months from now, just because so good. It's so good. And we're working on getting, I'll go ahead and talk about it now. We're working on getting Mark Thompson on the show. Is actually a lot longer step to get him on here than most of our other guests, but he is the voice actor, voice, I guess, I don't even know, voice talent.
Yeah. Right. Voice actor,
audio book reader or something, whatever. But he's a professional. He's not like Eckstein or something like that. That's just an actor that's reading it. He's a professional audiobook voice reader, and he did all of the he did all 3 Aftermath books, and I think he did he did A New Dawn, and then he did Tarkin. So he is he's really, really good. He's really good. He does like again. I don't know if they took Thrawn, the Rebels Thrawn voice, like Mickelson.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is taking off of him or him taking off of Mickelson, because they sound the exact. It sounds like the exact same.
Excuse me.
Sounds the exact same.
I imagine Mark Thompson's doing the impersonation.
He's so good
of him.
He's so good on. That's
good.
Well, maybe I should play some of that because it's like so good. Anyway,
buddy of mine, Adam Horam,
who
read the ebook. I mean, he's a big Thrawn fan and Zahn fan, so he's he gave high praise for the novel too. And then I'm hearing other guys on some forums just listening to it, and friends of mine that are raving about it. So I'm very excited to jump into it whenever I can. I don't know.
Yeah. comic wise, I caught up on a ton of comics while I was gone.
Yeah.
You read some of Darth Vader, right?
Caught up to Darth Vader. It's just the 2 issues, man.
Yes.
Good
What do you think?
stuff. It's good stuff. So
good.
excited. I mean, we can briefly address it. It's been out for a while, and people have already talked about it on all the other shows, but in news articles. And we actually posted our own, Russell Johnson. For those of you who have been our longtime listeners, should maybe hopefully be familiar with that name. He's going to kind of be our comic correspondent.
That's right.
He will be writing some reviews of comics and posting it on our website, our blog, so you can definitely go to InsideTheForce.com and check out his entries. But he did a review for issues 1 and 2 of Vader, Darth Vader, Charles Soule's volume series, whatever. What am I trying to say? I don't know. Anyways,
Volume 2.
It's very good. Definitely read those 2 issues. Read Russell's review. Kind of my take. Besides just saying it's awesome, I love the artwork. Love it. The story that it is so far, it's truly Vader year 1, and more so the side of but it's not necessarily Vader year 1 where first 2 issues we haven't seen him like Vader in some kind of conflict whether or not he should be bad or not. Like he's straight up Darth Vader already. He's evil. He's bad. He's kicking butt, taking names, killing rebels, and all that kind of stuff. So. He's not like I was kind of thinking when I was about to get into it, thinking like I wonder if this will be, kind of showing Anakin Skywalker still in that conflict of whether or not he should succumb fully to the dark side or go back to the light. Maybe we will see that later, but so far the first 2 issues, it's not that he's 100% in the dark side. He's Sith, and he's even says that to the character. He says like I'm not a Jedi. Before he kills him, but
yeah,
it's great. I mean, the story is he's trying to find a lightsaber. Emperor's tasked him with getting his brand new lightsaber, and there's been some really cool little Easter eggs along the way, and some good little information, new little not new, but little nuggets regarding lightsabers that is very interesting, very enlightening. But the big controversy that was talked about in a lot of the shows and articles was about the whole no thing in the very beginning of first issue.
Right.
The first few panels. It literally picks up when Vader basically first wakes up in his new armor, and Emperor's telling him that Padme's dead, and saying that Vader killed her, and then Vader does the no thing. Whereas, of course, in Revenge of the Sith, he does the big Frankenstein no, breaks off the bed, and everything around him is kind of being destroyed a little bit. The droids and all the little medical instruments, but in the comic, it's even more destructive. Like things are getting totally torn apart. The Emperor's thrown up against the wall, But in how he's saying no, it's like it's big and bold how it's written and illustrated. But it's like he's repeating no, like no, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and he's just getting more destructive. Everybody's saying like this is a retcon, this and that, and this is a different version of what we saw in Revenge of the Sith, and some people say it's a much better version. I mean, I strongly disagree with that, and I think you feel the same.
Yeah, I do, because it's just a continuation of that scene. To be honest, it's exactly what we're getting with Force of Destiny. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a deleted scene or a cut scene that was written and just left out, and he's taking it now and going in that direction because it doesn't do anything with the canon. No, if I hadn't read any of these people, kind of freaking out about it or talking about it, I would not have probably even thought that. Like when I read it as this happened after what we saw. After we leave, it's not replacing what we saw in Revenge of the Sith. Exactly. Yeah,
like he could still he's already off the bed by the time the issue starts, so. Obviously, he's already had that conversation. That gets into the whole dialogue.
Well, the last thing we see him, he yells no.
Yeah.
So this just continues the no. Yeah. And then he just goes even worse.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all that happens.
Exactly. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's not. So, and honestly, this kind of goes into what we'll talk about with Pablo's tweets. Yeah. But again, on Russell, and we'll do a better job of tweeting this out and promoting this, but he also just did yesterday, he did a Dr. Aphra number 8 review.
Sweet.
So he's really into these comics, and so are we. Afra, I've read about. I think I'm only 4 or 5 issues in on Afra, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it does help to me in a way to get into that. You need to read Vader, the first volume of Vader, the 25 issues, because she's introduced in that, and kind of how that series ends with her is where this one picks up, obviously. So, and right now, this is the last issue. This number 8 is the last issue of the Screaming Citadel series that's going on right now. Screaming Citadel had its own one shot, and then it is followed by Star Wars 31 and 32, and then Afra 7 and 8. So this is the final one on that. Very good. I started reading it. Russell, I didn't want to get spoiled. I read a little bit about what he wrote, and look, Russ has been he's been a comic guy his entire life, so he's been reviewing for years. So I'm glad he's got his own login now to the site, so he's going to do a lot of this stuff. So, okay, so I guess before I do want to get in these tweets, but right before that, I'll just do since we're talking about. I'll just talk a little bit about Thrawn. I'll be done with it next week, so I'll and I don't want to obviously do a full review on here. I thought about I'll probably write a review, a spoiler-free review on the site because Casey hasn't read it yet, and most people I think that have read it have already done so, and maybe they're waiting a little bit. I don't know, but it's really good, and I got an hour left, which I think is like 2 chapters left, and I still not exactly sure how it's going to end, and it's getting really, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, but it's getting really close to Rebels, but I almost feel like it's getting like what's happening now. I almost feel like it's actually like close to season 3 when he gets introduced. Like I feel like season 1 and season 2 of
it's happening right now.
No, I don't know if that's concurrent. That might be true because
this is happening concurrent with season 1 and season 2 Rebels.
At this point, because Arenda Price is governor now of Lothal, and she's dealing with rebel insurgents. So I don't know if it's Kanan in them, but it's but see, I don't know how long we don't know how long Kanan and them were doing that stuff until season 1 started. It feels like they were there for a while, doing stuff. Anyway,
well, if you want to wait for your review, it's fine. But like, what would you say is what sets us apart from the other Star Wars novels that you read and listened to? So
good. By far, it's hands down, it's Thrawn himself.
Yeah,
like. Because we talked about this off mic, I don't remember too much of the original trilogy, the Thrawn trilogy, right? I read it once years ago, mid 90s, right, or something like that. I mean, 25 years ago, right?
20 years ago.
20 years ago, and it might have been 25. It was 92, wasn't it? 92,
when it came
93?
out, when it first came out,
I read it in high school, so I was when I was in high school. So I don't, and then I'm not as deep into Star Wars as I was then, right? It was just a continuation of. It was just exciting to know that there was stories beyond episode 6, right? So anyway, I read it. I remember a little bit about them and all that stuff, but. This, obviously now knowing a little bit what I know from Rebels, I mean, and the best part, and not just Thrawn, but the best part that really drives his character out in this is how those little subconscious lines in there.
Yeah, his inner dialogue, how his mind works. Like,
correct. So as a conversation is going on, you'll hear him say like he describes what the person's doing.
Yeah.
So he's getting a read right away of, is this person nervous? Is he anxious? Is he angry? Is he, curious? I mean, it's amazing how much he dissects things, which is great because if I go back and watch season 3 again, I'm like, I mean, he's obviously probably doing that as he's talking to people, right? And then of course, there's some great characters in there, like his aide, Eli Vanto. he's a great character. I'm curious to see if he's an original character. I'm curious to see if he ever shows up on Rebels or what happens to him because he's not in Rebels. Right. I don't think he is. But you just get a little more insight on Tarkin and the state of the Empire. It's funny because, and then and then of course there's parts about them talking on this side about the Rebels, and there's these different pockets, and they're not coherent. They're not working concurrently together yet, and they don't know if they're a threat. It's just so much insight, but there's so much good story. Like really, I think that in some of these other books, like Tarkin, even Tarkin was really, really good too. Like the James Luceno Tarkin, that was kind of on par with this. But there's still a little bit in Tarkin. There were parts where I kind of got bored with it, and then they picked back up. This is just scene after scene, man. This is just good. I mean, every chapter just pushes the story further, gets deeper into what Thrawn is thinking, and it's just, and then obviously, like I said, Mark Thompson is reading it unbelievably. He's doing it's so good. So, so I think to me, what makes it the best so far is it just doesn't slow down. It just every it's going through the years of him. So it shows when he first gets in as an officer, to a lieutenant, to a commander, to commandant, to admiral. So it's just going every stage through it. So it's it's years. This book covers years, and but each incident that pushes the story further just is so compelling, and then it does all kind of tie up in the end. I mean, Zahn just did a great job writing it. So I will recommend this book like crazy. But I will. Yeah, I'll probably write something. I'm going to write brief. Everything I just said there, basically, I'll just put it on and put it on the internet. Okay, so let's talk Forces of Destiny.
Forces of
Destiny. Yeah. So I guess I don't know if you were in the know of this. I didn't realize that Monday we were only getting one episode.
I didn't know that. No.
Right? I mean,
that would be like a batch release.
Felt like there'd be a whole playlist,
like 8 or 9. I thought it was going to be like
yes. Yeah. So they did release several days before that. They released a picture with the whole group of women, I guess, that this Forces of Destiny is going to be centered around, right? And you had 2, 4, 6, 8 women standing there. You had Ahsoka, Padme, Hera, Rey, Leia, Sabine, Jin, and then someone I didn't recognize at first,
right?
And then I failed to forget her name, but she was in Rebels.
Yeah, she was Sabine's.
She was a bounty hunter
worked with Sabine.
Sabine, so
she's kind of a rival, not really, but
yeah. So apparently she's getting her own Forces Destiny episode as well, or 2. So, so these are really, really short, 2 to 3 minutes. So far this week, we got one every day.
Yeah,
we got 5. I have a feeling we're not going to get any over the weekend. I feel like it's like a Monday through Friday thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But they're on Disney Channel's YouTube channel, and they will be on. You said the 9th, right? Sunday. There's a collection of them. I guess
it's the 9th.
Yeah, I think it's the 9th too. So you got episode 1, Sands of Jakku. Episode 2 was BB-8 Bandits. So you had Rey and BB-8 the first 2. Then it jumped to Endor for episode 3. You got Ewok Escape with Leia and Wicket. Episode 4 was the Padawan Path with Anakin, and then not Anakin with Ahsoka, but then you had the return of Anakin and Yoda, played by Matt Lanter and Tom Kane. That was confirmed. And then today, which is Friday, you got this 5th episode, which was called Beasts of Echo Base, with Leia, R2, and Chewbacca. So, I don't know if you want to do each one, but you just do an overall. What do you think so far of these?
Overall, I definitely like them. I mean, they're kind of, I guess, how I imagine they would be. Like, nothing too impactful as of yet, really. They literally are almost like deleted scenes. Is kind of what everybody's really talking about. But they've been fun. I mean, they're definitely fun. I like the animation, and it's great. It's even better that the real actresses for the most part are doing these voices. And we got the Daisy Ridley doing Rey is awesome.
Awesome.
Here again, here Lupita Nyong'o do Maz at the very beginning of each one. And Ahsoka's always awesome. It's always great to see.
Now, Leia, who's playing? Is it the same Leia in the Rebels?
Catherine Tabor, I want to say. Let me double check that.
Oh, she's doing Padme again, right? She's probably doing Padme.
Yeah, she is, but I thought maybe she's also doing Princess Leia. But let me look that up. But no, it's been great so far, and starting with the first two with Rey, it was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a third one with Rey at least. With that Night Watcher worm, that was actually quite surprising. No idea. Now, did you know that it actually looked like that? Was that ever shown that's what the Night Watcher worm looks like?
The top part is in the movie.
Yeah, I know that part, but
no, I didn't know it was like the whole body down there.
That was like its nose or what? I don't even know what that was, but really cool. And then Ahsoka, it was fun. I was always curious to see where it would take place and all that stuff. And while she's still training and all that stuff, but the Leia one's really nice. The one that we got today, and the Endor one was pretty cool.
Yeah, so to me, I do enjoy them. I think it's a different. I feel like though that, and I could be 100% wrong about this, but I feel like they're testing the animation.
Yeah.
Are people going to like it and identify with it? Because I feel like if they do, they would start doing more full-length TV series with this kind of animation, or movies with this animation. Because I mean, I would
love that
because I think I'm pretty sure it's less expensive than doing a full 3D animated film. Even though I want it to look like freaking Force Unleashed or something like that, but and again, these things are just kind of deleted scenes. Somebody is going to drop these into like the Rey scene from episode 7.
Yeah.
Where it's like the movie and then these and then the movie again. Because it does line up pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the Ewok one a lot. I thought that was a good scene after that.
Some of them are definitely way more action. Others, the Endor one was was a little bit of action, but it was very, it was a little more toned down. But it still worked. I liked what I liked most about that was, I don't know. I know it's kind of a debated thing, but like I like things that do fill gaps and connect. Like these things are doing.
Yeah.
So like that one, it's like, oh, this is where we see her get her dress. That's so cool. Like that's how she got her dress.
See, that is cool.
Like little things. I like little things like that. I know some people are like, we don't need to know every little detail of every little hole and little gap. But
I want to know how she got like the Bosch bounty hunter outfit.
Yeah,
because that was in Shadows of the Empire,
right? Yeah,
but it's not canon.
And then in her voice, Prince Leia's Shelby Young.
Yeah. Did she do it? Was that Rebels? Is it the same girl? I'm pretty sure it's probably the same girl played her in Rebels.
It might have been.
Now there's the one we got this today with the Echo Base one. What's funny about that is that actually then leads into a deleted scene, actual deleted scene.
It's pretty much
where the Wampas are, right?
Inspired by that same,
They're locked in that door, that room, and then the Imperials actually open that door, and then there's all these Wampas, which is like one of the worst scenes.
Yeah,
those Wampas are like, oh my god, it's horrible. So the only one that's really different, though, to me is the Ahsoka one, because, and maybe people listening could tell us or know. I'm not sure where that one falls in the timeline,
right?
Because I would assume if you go back and watch Rebels, you can see where her
Gosh,
extension
I knew the
gets
name.
longer.
They have a name.
Yeah, I looked that up. It's because since she's hairless, it's like it's her Padawan hair.
Silka bead.
Yes. So they keep adding onto it as she gets older.
Right.
Just like it would grow longer.
It's particularly for the ones that don't have hair.
That's what I said. Yeah, hairless.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The hairless ones.
yes. So it replaces their hair bead, their hair braid. So
I guess so Anakin so the people who have the hair then you just keep growing out.
you just keep growing it out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would think I would want to bead regardless if I had hair or not. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I guess, and I never paid attention in Clone Wars though, like how long that ever got.
Yeah.
Because you do that all the way up to a Jedi Knight.
Guarantee that's such a crazy detail to keep track of because the episodes are so out of order.
It is.
So it's like, all right, so
they are more in the beginning. I mean, more
exactly.
Do you remember though? Did she become a Jedi Knight, or was she always a Padawan?
So.
I think she was always a Padawan,
She
right?
left before.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think
right?
too.
Well, it's weird because actually,
because he says in there, you're on your way to becoming a Jedi Knight.
The Dave Filoni thing.
Yes.
Mentions former Jedi Knight, but that could be.
Yes.
She could have, Kanan became a Jedi Knight after the Order was extinguished anyway. So
I think she might have become a Jedi Knight though, for some reason. I so need to watch the Clone Wars again, so I'm more familiar with these episodes. But overall, Forces of Destiny, I'm enjoying them. I'm curious. I'm definitely curious to see the Padme one, and the it's funny because we get the picture of Leia in that poster from A New Hope, even though we've seen her in Empire and Jedi. And of course Sabine. And I'm interested about Hera because isn't Hera on Endor? Isn't that one? She's on Endor. So it's like, see, those are the ones where, right now, the ones that have come out, there's no controversy as far as time. Hera now, if she's interacting with Endor or with Leia or with, Han, is she in there? Do we know who she's there with?
I'm pretty sure I read
it's Han, isn't it?
Han and Leia. I think it's them. I think it's both of them.
Yeah.
But there's also, it's not really as controversial because it can fit, but there's one with Leia and Sabine on Yavin where she's like giving her a mission or something like that. So
that's right. In that outfit, I think, right? Yeah. So,
so interesting.
And then Jin, that's got to be pre-Rogue One, maybe.
It's gotta be, during it, there might be some
during Rogue
little
One?
moment during where it could have happened, like where she's on Jeddah, maybe. But.
Yep. Padme, that's the episode 2 outfit. So I don't know. So as I'm on Twitter here, let's look at. We want to talk about first the Filoni one. The Filoni one's pretty good. So
let's do that.
So there's some tweets we want to go over here. If you go to Dave Filoni's, he's Dave _ Filoni on Twitter. It's pinned at the top. So this is what Casey was kind of referring to. Interesting tweet just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
because people are like, it's like what?
It blew up. Yeah.
In fact, some of the replies real fast were like, someone had this gif of like,
what?
What? No, and then someone tweeted, "No big deal. I'm just gonna really quick drop this massive nugget of info." For us, this is earth shattering. For Dave, it's just a Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, so he tweeted a picture of this dialogue that apparently was supposed to be in the season finale of season 3, this past season, right?
Season 2. Make sure you chopper base.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2. Yeah, before she confronts Vader.
Right.
And then there's a picture of the Bendu with Ahsoka,
which we didn't see the Bendu until season 3, right? That was his first introduction. Was season 3. This past season.
Yeah, that's right. So he must have been introduced that episode.
This was going to be his first introduction.
That would have been his introduction. Is that right? I guess that's right. We didn't see him at all in season 2?
I don't think so. I'll try to look that up. But
I actually think he was in season 2.
He was?
Yeah, and then he was also in season 3.
Gosh, I'm so bad at shows.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, while Case looks that up, I'll read what this strip here says. It says, Filoni has it written down, just takes it, I guess he just submitted a picture of it, but he wrote this. It just occurred to me that I never got to tell you all the story of the time that Bendu met Ahsoka Tano. It was a brief encounter which took place around the end of episode The Mystery of Chopper Base from season 2, just before Ahsoka, Kanan, Ezra left on their fateful mission to Malachor. Of their conversation, you might find this dialogue to be most interesting. And here's the dialogue. Bendu, you are set on this confrontation then? ? Ahsoka then replies, I have to know the truth. Bendu says, so be it, but understand this. Much will change as a result of this encounter, including you. Ahsoka, isn't that true of all things as time advances? Bendu, my dear, when I say change, I mean death. Ahsoka then asks, so I will die? Bendu then asks, will you? I didn't know that. Goodbye then, Ahsoka Tano, former Jedi Knight.
Ahsoka, his voice is so cool.
Yeah. So
The Bendu.
There's a little to dissect there because because it's kind of weird at the end. He's like, oh, so will you?
It's not clear because he says death, but he never says Ahsoka.
He never says Ahsoka, correct? Because he says much will change as a result of this encounter, including you. But he's not saying that, and he's saying the change is death, but he's not saying the change is you.
Exactly.
He's saying that you will also change, but not. So, do you think that? What do you think? So, I guess the bottom line is: does this at all hint whether or not Ahsoka is alive or not?
I don't think it does. I don't think it's clear because Bendu would have. I don't know. I don't think he's being coy. Like he would have said, he would have been clear about it. I don't know, but I don't think it's clear about that. However, Dave Filoni, if you remember from Celebration, made a really subtle hint or confirmation, however you want to take it, of the fate of Ahsoka with the T-shirt he was wearing. How it's first, during the Rebels panel, it said Ahsoka lives ? Then they show the clip of season 3 when the stage went black while you watched the clip or the trailer, and then stage lights went back on, and suddenly Dave Filoni has near identical shirt. Ahsoka lives, but instead of ? It's an exclamation point. So it surprised me that Filoni would go as far as that. Like would be either a very elaborate trolling example there where he's just really trying to egg on the audience, or he is actually confirming that Ahsoka has in fact lived. She does live. Or gosh, but he's so cryptic, and where that he could totally say like, oh, that
I'm not sure if he even knows.
He doesn't mean, but he could be like, oh, that just means she just lives on in other stories.
Yeah,
that could be past or present.
That's right.
He can be like his little the way he says those kind of things, but it's so nerve-wracking. I don't. It's not clear to me that whether she's alive or dead still with this new unaired, technically not canon even
right
scene.
It's not. I don't even know if it matters if it's canon or not. But it is kind of a bombshell to drop just randomly. Just by the way, he was gonna. Be, they were gonna meet and they're gonna have this talk. So is he in 2 or not?
I'm trying to have the episode name, but I'm trying to find what season it's in. It's the episode is Steps into Shadow, and it was
it should
third
say
season 3.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't in season 2.
No, season 2. Okay, he was early on in season 3. Then must have been the first episode maybe or something.
First episode, yeah.
Okay, so there's that tweet, and then I think I wanted to talk about Pablo's tweets. Now, this has been getting... This series of tweets has been getting national coverage. Like, I mean, it's been trending. People, like, articles have been written about it. Like, oh, hey, Master Pablo is like, he's the guy. And he's even responded to a lot of this by saying, like, look, my opinion, I'm not the guy, you know, whatever. Yeah.
In fact, he isn't the leader of the story group.
He's not. But I think him and Leland have been there the longest, obviously. So. But the biggest, where this comes from with people obviously asking him a bunch of questions, and then of course people, based on his answers, people question the canon and the continuity, not just canon, but the continuity of how things happen. Mm-hmm. You know, whether or not it's a book is canon or the movie is canon, and what if it contradicts each other? Blah blah blah. So Pablo, real quick, just says. This is about 4 days ago. Against my better judgment, about to start a few tweets about the dreaded C word, canon. But first, one ground rule. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
So he says, just my own ideas about it. It is not reflective of any company policy. It's not a commandment. It's not a rule, just an observation. On occasion, when asked about something specific, I'll answer, canon doesn't split those hairs. What do I mean by that? It means it's a detail that isn't cataloged. It's an increment beneath notice, and stuff like that typically means artifacts of the medium. So I don't see there being such a thing as canon dialogue, because a comic, novel, cartoon, live-action version of an event will differ. It's my way of dodging the who shot first. It's my way of dodging the who shot first horse carcass. All that's canon is that two people entered that booth and Greedo died. Reports vary. Here's an example of a film artifact. Look how much room is in the Death Star overbridge. This is huge. Now he took a picture of episode 4. So why are these guys standing so close as if they can't get enough of each other? Because they had to fit into the movie frame. Now that he's showing a scene where all 4 of them are right there. In my mind, there's no such thing as their canonical distance. Is canonical? Is that right?
Yeah. Canonical
distance from one another. The only fact is that these guys were there and talked. Mm-hmm. So if a comics adaptation wanted to open up this frame and have them stand at normal human distances from each other, go for it. So that's really all he had to say, and then obviously there's people responding, a ton of people responding. But he goes on to say later, since Disney, someone else brought up, since Disney bought Lucasfilm, I've been wondering if the novelizations of the episodes 1 through 6 are canon. If not, why not? And he responds, I always say there's an adaptation of canonical events. They're an adaptation of canonical events that some differences due to medium and authorial interpretation.
Okay.
So let's summarize that.
Yeah.
Briefly, basically what I think in our conversations have been, what he's saying is that, because you have a little bit of a problem with this, I think. What I think he's saying is that canon is not necessarily what they always pay attention to necessarily. They pay attention to what's happening in that event and how it lines up in the timeline. Mm-hmm. But again, what I think the hard part is defining what actually canon means.
Right.
Right. I think canon means fact, right? Like
a law.
This happened.
Yeah.
This is the way it happened. But that word, that dreaded word, he said, like, it gets skewed because they're allowing different interpretations of an event.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a canon event, but there's different canons within that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. So again, Death Star, those 4 guys are standing really close to each other in the movie, but in a comic, they could be on the other side of the room, but having the same conversation. We've witnessed, or I feel like we will witness when episode 8 comes out, Kylo Ren's face scar is not going to be in the same position, right? So it's like he did get hit, but how it's shown is really doesn't matter, kind of thing. So go ahead.
It just blurs the lines too much. I think it makes everything too gray and allows for, I think it actually will, again, this is his opinion, but if this is kind of how they operate, I feel like it could allow for some continuity issues down the road. Now, I'm okay with different events interpreted differently in different mediums, like a novel, from different point of view, that kind of a thing. I feel like the movies, as I'm pretty sure has been stated before, the movies are held as canon, as law. If a book or comic contradicts what is shown on screen, then it is not canon. That's why, like the novelizations, that's what Leland Shee told you. If the book, they are canon in the moments where they align with the films. The films are always seen as canon.
Well, no, he didn't say that.
What did he say?
So he said that in an article when this whole canon thing came up, the story group came up. People were talking about that. What he said to me was they were different interpretations. So he said the interpretation part,
right,
which threw me off.
Yeah,
he says, he did say yes, that where it lines up, it's canon, but there are also different interpretations.
Yeah,
and all are different interpretations of what happened.
I get that. And again, if, like, going back to the Vader comic, if it had shown that same exact scene from Revenge of the Sith that people are saying it did, again, that's an interpretation. That would have been an interpretation, and I've been okay with that.
Like if they would have shown the whole scene again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's an interpretation. But we all should know that what really happened was what happened in the movie. Now, this is talking about dialogue, canon, all that kind of stuff. I can look past that, sure, whatever, to an extent, I guess, because dialogue is, I don't know, it's like how much dialogue can't not be canon, because in a sense the dialogue progresses the story. So if he didn't really say that, then but that affected the story. So if he didn't really say it that exact same way, then the story somewhat should maybe have been changed. I don't know if he said it differently. Anyways, the Han shot first thing is kind of what really made me pause and think about it, because it's a crazy age-old debate I'm not going to get into. But canon-wise, to me, what I've always believed, canon was what was in the movie. So Han shot, Greedo shot first in the movie. Originally, Han was the only person who shot, but he's saying that it could have happened either way, which doesn't really work for me, because in the movie was what we saw, and that's should be how it is. If that really didn't happen, then I feel like that allows for other events in Star Wars to be interpreted the same way. And when we first started talking about it, I was trying to think of other moments, and I couldn't think of other moments where that would be similar to. But there's got to be other little moments like that where, something like that happened.
Well, one I was going to bring up was not necessarily in the movie, kind of, but I kind of keep thinking whenever I hear about this situation is the episode 7 novelization, when the lightsaber flies to Rey, and Kylo in the book says, "So it is you."
Yeah,
is that canon?
See, now it's so blurred. I don't know.
I mean, to me, it sounds like it is.
Yeah,
but we didn't see it in the movie. So does that not make it canon? Because the way they're talking is like, yes, it's again, the event happened.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying, because then yes, the weight of what he says is necessarily not as strong, because someone's interpretation is that he said something, someone's is that he didn't. Who's right?
And the thing is, though, even with that, it's just
What's fact?
What is fact? How do we know that fight really went down the way it did?
We don't.
It's like how
we have one visual interpretation of it.
How do we know that lightsaber actually flew into her hands? Maybe she ran over and picked it up herself. That changes so much.
That does, yes.
But I feel like I feel like it allows for that. Based off what he said, I think it allows for that. Where no one was around to see it.
Yeah.
So how do we know it really happened that way? Who's reporting these events to us? So to me, that has to be canon. There has to be a definitive canon. It is what you see. What you see is canon on the films. Everything else is interpretation, and you can kind of see it and look past it. So anything else? Like, I'm thinking the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith. So we saw Obi-Wan chop off the limbs of Anakin. Did he really do that? Maybe Anakin just fell in lava and that's what got burned off. And Obi-Wan pulled him out and left him there for dead. Who knows? Maybe the Emperor did it himself. How do we know that really happened? So,
yeah, I think I think if you were to, if you were to go, I think if you were to go back and, like if George was still running it, I think he would clearly say what he's always said, is that what is in the movies is what happened.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's where it kind of comes. I think that's where most of us take, is what most of us believe is that what we see on screen, TV shows, movies, that's what happened. The books and the comics are just additional information or different interpretations of those events.
Yeah, and I've got to look at the ultimate encyclopedias that kind of cover all these movies and all these events, because from what Pablo was saying, they're being very general in how they are cataloging all these events. Like, general event, Anakin and Obi-Wan fought, and Obi-Wan walked away. Anakin remained with his limbs cut off, left for dead. Han and Greedo enter the bar. Greedo died. The very general event, what happened? Kylo and Rey fought. Rey won, and the planet split open, and that was it. But the specifics of like how the fight actually went down, what sort lightsaber moves did they use? What did they say? How many times did they jump over obstacles? Those little things can be interpreted. Sure, I can get behind that. So what I want to know is just where's the line in that sense. I don't where that is. So maybe all they're worried about are the main events, and then essentially what is true canon is what's in the encyclopedias. Because I feel like that shouldn't be interpreted differently. It's an encyclopedia.
Very true.
I don't know.
And I don't think I've gotten any of those.
I keep meaning to buy the newest one that was released, the big ultimate encyclopedia of everything. It was like, I saw it at Barnes & Noble, but it was like $20. Don't know why I didn't buy it. But
so that's the latest one?
That's the latest one that was released rather when Thrawn was released. It was like a month or two ago.
I need to get that too.
But I need to look through that, because that has timelines in it of certain characters and all this.
And Pablo wrote it too, right?
Pablo wrote a lot of that stuff.
So it's got to be, that's got to, I wonder how detailed that is.
Yeah. So like if I read that, and if it read like the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and if it was very general, then I would just take that as canon, and then sure I'll get behind the very specific details is interpreted. I can see that. I just think there has to be some definitive source.
I agree. Yeah. That's just interesting tweets that came through there this week. Let's see. So that's really all we got. I think we want to just briefly talk about what you're getting now out there from us on YouTube. We have this weekend we will have released our newest fan trailer for episode 2, because we are pushing our journey to The Last Jedi, coming out this December. Every month, we're putting a fan trailer out and a commentary for the movies. Casey and I and a guest will be talking through some main points through the movies as the movie's playing. So episode 2's wrapped. That will be out there this weekend. Trailer for it, which I'm very happy with. I'm actually
good.
I like it better than the episode 1 one already. Yeah. I think people are going to like it. And then you can go ahead and click at the end of that and watch our commentary for episode 2. This is July now, so August will be episode 3, which I'm pumped about already doing the trailer for that because I think that one's going to be really easy to do. Focus on Anakin's fall.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
It's good.
What else?
Good stuff.
So I go to InsideTheForce.com. You can get to the our YouTube channel from there. You can get to our trailers on there. Read up on Casey's obviously posting news on there, and then read up on Russell's comics reviews. InsideTheForce.com. So go there and you can actually subscribe to the feed of the website and get every time we get updated. All right. So be on the lookout next week for some more Forces of Destiny. We'll be back next week. Talk about that, whatever news comes about. And D23 is happening this weekend, so I don't know if we'll probably do our show. I guess we'll probably have done our show before that, but obviously stay tuned to that, see what comes out on that. What else? That's about it?
That's about it, man.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for staying with us. Casey's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm DConningham21 on Twitter. Of course, we're Inside the Force on everything social media. For Casey Cooley.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people. I'm looking at the eyes of a man who wants to run.
That's pretty good.
Maz Kanata.
Yeah,
Forces of Destiny. That was not good, but yeah.
Forces of Destiny.
The actions we take.
Yes. It's very good. Very good. All right. Have a great, great weekend, everybody. Take care. We'll see you guys next week. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force within all of us.